What is up, YouTube? It's Psychedelic Scizor, and I am finally back after a long hiatus for really no particular reason, just other than I didn't feel like it. I am back with my next season of CPC majors with draft analysis and such. God, my intros are still so on point. So this is gonna be real laid back, mostly because this team was real laid back. I didn't even really formulate a draft plan until about halfway through it. I just started picking MONS, and I wanted to pick a lot of stuff that I haven't used before, and I think this team is going to be super fun. So a couple things to note that are different this season. They unbanned Aegislash and Tapu Lele, but with no Z moves, and we have an extra 10 points on our budget. I believe it was 120 last season. It's 130 now. I know it's 130 now, so however many extra points that is what we got. So now that that's out of the way, I'm just going to go over the team, see how it synergizes and such, and whatever particular reason you watch this video. So I had the 7th pick. Yes, I had the 7th pick, right middle of the pack. It kind of sucked, but it didn't really impact me at all because I managed to get Aegislash at pick 7 somehow. Amazing bulky steal. One of the best typings, if not the best typing, depending on who you ask, in the game. Only a couple weaknesses, and obviously, you know, the broken Aegislash mechanics and such. It just gives my team so much all in one mon. It is just an amazing defensive pivot. Gives me setup, gives you special offense, physical offense, support. I mean, Aegislash is amazing, and there's a reason it's banned. I still kind of think it should be unbanned. I mean, I think it's still amazing. I think it would be up there with Celesteela, Tapu Koko, Lando T. I think it would be one of the best, but I don't think it'd be absolutely broken, but that argument's really never going to end because it kind of just depends on if you think having to predict around King Shield's broken. And you know what? I just want it unbanned because I'm a fucking anarchist, and I just enjoy having broken shit allowed, honestly. To quote what I have said in the server before, shit, I would vote to allow Groudon if it came down to just because I'm a fucking anarchist and I want stuff allowed. So, I picked up Aegislash, had to, I voted yes on it, and I just think it's an amazing mon. Really no-brainer, honestly. And so next, I was going to get Hydreigon because it is the perfect partner for Aegislash, provides free U-turns into it, and resists every type that Aegislash is weak to, but that was sniped like 2 picks before me, so that was unfortunate. So I kind of didn't really know what to get, so I got Infernape. Haven't used Infernape before, surprisingly, because it's an amazing mon. I don't know how I've never used it up until this point. It still covered some of the weaknesses, like Fire and Dark. Also fits the U-turn roll, and it's just a really, really good mon. Just gives me more mixed offenses, gives me a solid speed stat. I mean, you know Infernape. It's a good mon. It's a very good mon. And I think that's really about it. Infernape is good. It's a good partner for Aegislash. Really, you just pair Aegislash with good stuff, and good things will happen. So next, I ended up getting Manaphy. Again, mostly because I haven't used Manaphy before. Ever. I mean, maybe on the ladder before. Even then, I would not surprise me if I've never used Manaphy before, ever. And just another relatively fast mon. Fills a role of bulky water, but it's not super passive, like something like a Milotic. Obviously, Tail Glow is the best setup move in the game, or one of the best setup moves in the game, I should say. And yeah, it's a Manaphy. It's also one of my Z users. You get 1 Z user for free and 1 Z user below 10 points, so this is my above 10 point Z user. Just because Infernape, I really considered it on, but I feel like Infernape is fine with other items. I feel like Manaphy really needs the Z move to be as much of a threat. I feel like Infernape, you're not giving up much by not having it be Z. Manaphy, I feel like you're giving up a lot if it's not Z. Also, more U-turn support. Another fire resist for Aegislash, so that's awesome. And yeah, it's a Manaphy. Next, to get a bulky dark type to pair with Aegislash, because I think you need that because of the ghost and dark weakness, I picked up Crocodile. Switches into knockoffs very easily and most ghost types. It's my first, no, it's not my first stealth rocker, it's my second. Infernape is a stealth rocker, but it's going to be my first common stealth rocker, I should say. Very beefy attack stat. My speed tiers are starting to round out a little bit, 108, 100, 92, and then whatever the fuck Aegislash is, like 60, 50, something slow. Intimidate, obviously very good. It's a Crocodile. It's another really self-explanatory mon. Honestly, a lot of the mons I picked up are pretty self-explanatory because they're just good. I just was picking good mons. And Crocodile just felt like a really solid pairing. Yeah, it's a Crocodile. I think I've said that for every mon on the team so far. Next, I got Magnezone. It gave me my electric type. I didn't need the steel type because I had Aegislash, but Aegislash would very much appreciate steel types being trapped because, yes, it can run Sacred Sword, but that forces it to be physical, or at least drop one of its defense stats. And so Magnezone can take some pressure off of that. Getting rid of steel types can also help. Manaphy doesn't necessarily struggle with steel types either, but the specific ones that could really annoy this team, stuff like Skarmory and Celesteela, it traps very easily. Also just gives me a powerful electric type to pressure the bulky waters that are looking annoying to this team. Not unbeatable, but annoying to this point, and it pressures them very well. 130 base special attack. I think people realize that Magnezone, while being an amazing trapper, it doesn't have to just be a trapper. It's got analytic and sturdy, and it's very strong. So you can just use it as an attacker, and it's gonna do damage. Of course, blocked pretty hard by ground types, but, you know, Crocodile switches in those well. Manaphy can abuse those, and yeah, Magnezone I think was very underrated. I think it's a very good partner for Aegislash. Gets, you know, slow volt switch in, traps steel types. It's a good mon. It's a good mon. Next, I finally picked up a mon that I've used before, and that is Rabombi. Because webs are awesome, gives me a speed tier, like a really fast mon that I really needed. I think every team needs to have a mon that can force Megalopony to be jolly instead of adamant, because that thing is already a monster to switch into. If you give it adamant, it's game over. It's just game over. So Rabombi gives me that speed tier, gives me webs, which are amazing. Another pivot, another setup sweeper, also potential defog if I need it. It is my first hazard remover on the team. I'm not going to rule out the possibility of it. It's not a common defogger, it's not an amazing defogger, but I mean, it's fast, so if I really need an emergency defog, I mean, Rabombi is there. You know, it's got some cool options. You know, it's got stuff like Stun Spore as well for utility. You know, it's a cool mon. It's something I have used before, so I really enjoy using it. So I picked it up, and it gives me my fairy type. So 2/3 of the Dragon Fairy Steel Core are already filled, and yeah, just like everything else, good mon. So it was after this point that I finally started making a draft plan, and so I should have put this onto the same team, but whatever, I don't have any teams that I'm revealing. So next I picked up Garbodor. It's one of those things, it feels a little early, but I mean, okay, you can see the rest of my team. Nothing else was going to go that quickly. The Megas, you know, we were kind of all picking those up last round, so I knew that wasn't going to get taken, but we'll get to that. Pretend you don't see the rest of my mons, even though I just told you to look at the rest of my mons. Garbodor gives me, one thing it does is it takes defensive pressure off of Aegislash to be like a fighting type check, because Garbodor can do that very well. Gives me a hazard stack, which Aegislash and really everything on my team appreciates, T-spikes and regular spikes. It can be a good suicide lead. Stuff like Aftermath is a hugely valuable ability sometimes, as is Weak Armor. And even then, Stench has its purpose. You know, you gotta love when you can Hax people. Hax is a win con. Don't you ever think I won't try to use it. But yeah, it's got a bunch of cool moves, you know, physical and special. The special is not the best, but it's got some cool options. Again, it's a reliable spiker and T-spiker, which I really wanted this team to have. I wanted to have a grounded poison because I don't want to be messed up by T-spikes. And yeah, Garbodor, good Mon. At this point, I'm just saying it for every Mon. I'm doing that on purpose. Next, we did pick up the mascot pick. We did pick up Aegislash. Gives me a couple things. Gives me a speed tier in between Infernape and Ribombee that, while not, I guess, totally mandatory, it's super nice to have. You know, I like my speed. It gives me even more U-turn momentum. Gives me even more mixed offense. It's gonna generally be special, but, you know, it's got the same attack stats, so there's no reason why it can't be physical. Gives me a ground immunity because my team is a hair ground weak. Not really. I've only got 3 ground weaknesses, and one of them is really frail anyway, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Aegislash just adds more to what this team does well. You know, fast offense to support Aegislash and the rest of the Mons. U-turn, and it does have a lot of utility stuff like Taunt. It's another stealth rocker. Puts up screens. You know, stealth rock screens, boom, something like that. You know, that's kind of abusable, but you get the idea. It just has a lot of options. Memento as well. I forgot about that one. Memento as well. That's super good. So Aegislash is a really good Mon for this team. I mean, sure, it's a little frail, but, you know, a lot of its weaknesses are covered very well on this team. And I'm very happy with Aegislash. As you would guess, good Mon. So next is where my second snipe happened, and I'm actually very glad it did happen, because I was originally going to pick up Miltank, because Miltank did provide a couple things for my team. It provided another stealth rocker, provided a ghost immunity, essentially provided a fire resist, because Aegislash weak to fire, and well, that's mainly it, but honestly, any way you can support Aegislash is awesome. Provided me a fire and ice resist and a ghost immunity, but that got sniped right before me. I forget how many picks, but it was very close. So actually, I got Blissey. Shows a lot of the same things, still checks ghost types, arguably even better. Maybe not Golurk, but, you know, if you have the balls to draft Golurk, I respect you, and you probably deserve the win. But, so it gives me another stealth rocker, gives me that ghost resistance, I already mentioned, immunity, whatever. And what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, speaking of hacks, Serene Grace, 20% chance to freeze ice beams. You guys aren't ready for this. In addition, it can run stuff like Calm Mind and, you know, just be generally absurdly fat. Pairs super well with Aegislash. I mean, you know, you think Skarmbliss is disgusting. Look at Aegibliss. That's nuts. I absolutely love it. Oh man, this is so cancerous. I'm fine with that. I'm very fine with that. Good Mon. Next, I picked up Braviary. Kind of a weird pick. Not, you know, super out there, but, you know, you don't always see Braviary drafted. Provided a couple of things. Another ground immunity, another ghost immunity, and one thing I did really like about this, besides being a strong flying type, which is always extremely valuable, having one of these is, you know, I wouldn't say super important. It's not like your team is super missing anything, but it's really a good asset to have, having a, you know, super strong flying type. But I did like Defiant, just because this team is going to want a hazard stack with spikes and sticky web and stuff like that. So having a Defiant user was really nice. I didn't think Bisharp fit well in this team because I already had a dark type, I already had 2 steel types, and just generally I just didn't think it would fit very well. You know, can, you know, set up with bulk up, can be relatively fat, because even though base 75 defense is meh, 100 base HP, it's pretty solid. And what else am I missing? Oh yeah, more U-turn, even more U-turn. I've got, let's see, I'm counting them in my head. Let's see, we got Infernape, we got Manaphy, we got Ribombee, we got Magnezone Volt Switch, we got Azelf, and we got Braviary. So we've got 6 either U-turn or Volt Switchers, and that is amazing. So yeah, Braviary, good mon. Next, if any of you watched me in red, of course you know I had to pick this thing up again. I got Blossom. You're wondering, why is there a Blossom here? Don't sleep on Blossom. Blossom is a hard Zygarde check. Strength Sap is a busted move. Quiver Dance is amazing. It is just a bulky, fat piece of shit. I love this mon, and it's only 2 points, so it filled my grass type for 2 points. What other 2-pointer can you pick up and it can, you know, check a Zygarde or something that threatening? It's amazing. I love Blossom. It's amazing. So yeah, really good mon. And finally, rounding out my absolutely disgusting defensive core, I've got Mega Altaria, another mon I have never, ever used. So this thing is so versatile. Can be physical, set up with Dragon Dance, set up with Cotton Guard, can be special, can be support with like Heal Bell, be very bulky, very offensive, mixed offensive, can defog. It's another fairy type because Ribombee is not the most sturdy fairy type. And it also covers every weakness that Aegislash has besides ground, which my team covers well enough, I believe. And yeah, Mega Altaria, good mon. So that is the team, my 12 beautiful mons. Overall, my thoughts, I am very surprised how well this team turned out, considering how little to no direction I had through the first half of the draft. I was just picking up good mons, and I realized, wait a second, these all work. Also realizing that just an extra 10 points in budget, I mean, makes a huge difference on what you can do with your team. It is amazing what you can do with that. And so I like, it's really fast with a lot of momentum, it's got a lot of setup, it's got a disgusting defensive core, and it's got hazards. I think this team is super good, but at the same time, everyone picked up a good team because everyone had this busted ass budget. So we'll see how far this actually gets me this season, but I can't really get much worse than last season. So yes, I can. I shouldn't be saying that. I still had some wins that can be taken away from me. So that is a draft analysis. Glad to be back. It is awesome to be back. And for the outro, if you guys like what the Oakland A's Elves are doing, make sure you like, subscribe, share, do what you do with YouTube videos. I'm gonna get on out of here and see you guys later.